like in terms of longevity, we're gonna be around for however long we want to do this. Basically, that's what I feel. As long as we've got the motivation behind us, we'll still be around.
Yo, that sounds like a fucking intro for this.
And welcome to Frequency and Friends. We're back for another episode. This man needs no introduction at all. He's been making music at a high level for well over a decade. A self-made, legendary producer. We got to watch him grow up in his bedroom as a young G, making hits with every single artist that you can think of. If it's your favorite artist, he's made a track with them. We got the man, the myth, the legend. We got Manni Sandhu. Let's make some noise.
Hey, that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm finally here.
Manni,
That's it.
the excitement. I don't know if you felt the excitement in my voice. I'm excited, bro. I don't want to curse because my mom watches the show too. So
I'm excited as well. Bro, I've been watching, like me and my brother, like we all watch you guys, like, so it's sick what you guys are doing.
It's
finally good to be
That's
here
huge.
and just
thank you, man. And you brought the whole crew with you. Let me introduce everybody. I'm Kultar, the host. We got Jay Static to the left of me. We got DJ M to the right of him. We got Cam from Lucid behind the camera. We got Arsh that's helping us out today because this was a last minute shoot. We've been waiting 5 years for this. He called me yesterday, said it's happening. We made it happen.
Sick.
We got Bobby
Brar. Ace Collective.
Photography. Sorry, I don't know everybody's names here. You asked the question earlier. Is it Teji or Tegi?
It's Tegi.
It's Tegi.
Tegi.
That was the question. So we got Tegi Pandu in the house. We got your brother Jazz.
Jazz is there.
Jazz, and then the other two gentlemen. I'm sorry.
That's my boy Jags. Like old school, my boy from back in the day.
Nice.
And that's his cousin Darsh.
Nice.
So welcome, man. Let's
Thanks
make some
everyone
noise
for
for
coming through,
everybody, man.
man.
We're making it out. We got no AC in here. It's hot, but we
Hot
got
as
cold
fuck.
beers.
That's a disclaimer, innit? Like, I'm just waiting for these, especially the TikTok dimensions. They're gonna be beers zoomed in my face and stuff, bro. I'm sorry.
He's not nervous. It's just hot as fuck in here, man. All right.
It's all good.
All right, man. Welcome to Canada. Is it your first time? No. You came
many times, bro.
sneaky.
Yeah.
You sneakily came a little while back and made a fire album and then took off, right?
Yeah. Even before that, bro, I was coming from like back in the day, bro. Like when I dropped my early stuff, I remember them times were like Waterloo and stuff. I was doing like student shows there.
yeah.
I was young. It was always still a bit of a blur to me, man. I was just coming out here, just having fun as a little kid,
That's
innit?
dope,
But
man.
Canada's this place. We've always loved this place, man.
Canada's always had mad love for you too, man. I
For
think
sure.
from way back, even us growing up, like it's something about the way that you came up that we finally got the insight to see somebody that kind of looked like us, and listen to music like us. And so for us, it was a huge attachment coming up, man.
Yeah.
This show is about celebrating our artists, making sure that we get to know you not only for the music but the person. We want to know. It's weird with you because I feel like we already know you because we watched you for so long over the past like 15 years. But still, from the horse's mouth, we got to know the come up. I did a bit of research as I always do. I know that you were originally from South Hall.
Yep.
That's where everything started.
Oh, shit.
Take us
I
back
did not
to
know that. That's crazy.
take us back to South Hall and tell us a little bit about your experience there growing up. You and your brother Jazz.
So I mean, if you guys know, I'm sure you guys know, and if the listeners know about Southall, then Southall is like, I guess what you can like, it's our Brampton, isn't it? It's the UK spot where all the Punjabis are. So that's where we were born. It was myself, my brother, my sister, mum, dad, and imagine living in Southall, bro. Okay, imagine living in Brampton. Now, let me put it in your guys' perspective, innit? Like this is where you're living, an area where you go to school, everyone is Punjabi. You go out on the street, everyone is Punjabi. Like everyone around you is Punjabi, and then suddenly, bro, my family decided to move to an area called Newcastle in the UK, which is like 300 miles away. And like a lot of people know about Newcastle now, like, because it's like a bit of a nice place to go out for a night out and stuff. But Newcastle in the year 2000 was a different Newcastle to what it's like now. So like we were when I'm on about the only brown kid in my school, like I wasn't even just the only, like there was one brown kid in like a population of 2,000 kids, bro. That was me. And I turn up there with a gutti on my head and like there's like I still remember my first day, bro, walking into school and there's like 30, 40 people just looking at me like an alien, like, yo, who is this kid? Like, why does he look like that? Why has he got that thing on his head? So Yeah, Southall was good in the early days, but I didn't really get to experience a lot of Southall because we ended up moving to Newcastle.
For those of us that don't know Newcastle, like I only know it because my cousins went to UK way back and they brought a Newcastle
kit.
Kit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I saw that, but I still don't even know on the map where it is. Is that like south, north, east, west?
Northeast.
North. So like Bradford ways.
Even further than Bradford.
Oh,
it's like an hour and a half from Bradford. So like,
I got a question.
Yeah.
Southall.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school? Dormers Wells?
No, I went Deary Meadow. I was primary school, innit? Like my brother and sister went to Featherston. That's like the other.
My dad went to Featherston.
What?
Yeah, buddy.
That's crazy. Your dad went to Featherston?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I was on track for that as well, but nah, my parents had different plans for us, man.
Back when you were in Southall DJ M will know better, but like there's a lot of infamous Punjabi artists that were there. Who was around at that time? Do you remember anything?
I'll be honest with you, bro. At that point, I was bare young, bro. Like when I was in Southall, I was like 7 years old. So I was very young. I was just at that stage of just discovering music and almost having like a say of like what I like and what I don't like. Because before you're 7, like you just listen to like whatever is around you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever your older siblings are listening to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when I got to like that age, 7, to be honest, it was my older like brother as well that used to be into Tupac a lot. It was the people we used to listen to, bro, was Tupac, Biggie. That is it. At that point, I never even knew about Punjabi music. When I was in Southall, I never knew anything about Punjabi music. At most, I had heard like Punjabi MC. That's it.
It's kind of crazy that you went to a place where there's no Punjabis and then you somehow got this attraction towards Punjabi music after.
That's exactly what happened. So when we moved to Newcastle, we were so like detached from our culture because Punjabi culture wasn't existent there. Like it just we weren't around Punjabi people anymore, and like it was messed up, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like I got bullied bare when I went to school. So after school, I wouldn't go out. Like most kids would go out and play with their friends and stuff. I wouldn't really do that. So me and my brother would just chill at home more than like being out socializing with other kids because we really didn't have anyone to socialize with. Yeah. And that's when the internet was like kind of like making some noise. It was booming and stuff, and that's where like Napster was around. Even before Napster, like my brother always told me there was something called IRC. And that
DC was all that stuff.
It was like some mad, like that was even before me. And we actually discovered Punjabi music from those platforms, like Napster, from all the illegal downloading route. That's where we discovered like Punjabi music, and it was mainly mixed with garage because at that time garage was killing it as well in the UK. So like when we were in the shop, so my dad had a off license, like a store out there in Newcastle.
Like every England family, right?
Yeah, basically.
I love those trips when you go there and they're like, "Oh, come to work," and it's just bare beer bottles everywhere.
Everything, bro. Yeah. But like the mainstream radio was playing stuff like garage music. They were playing a bit of bro. Back then, like they weren't even playing hip hop on mainstream radio. It was like at that point where like the mainstream music was like dance, pop music, and at night you had Westwood that would come on like Fridays and Saturdays for
Tim
2 hours.
Westwood, right?
Yeah, Tim Westwood,
legend.
And he would play the hip hop, and like, bro, I still remember to this day. I think it was like must have been 2000, 2001. Me and my brother rang Tim Westwood, and we got through to Jay-Z, and I spoke to Jay-Z.
That's crazy.
And the maddest thing is I've got the recording on my phone, bro.
Yo, that has to be an intro on a song when you do a track.
So like, we were so obsessed with hip hop at that point where it was all about hip hop. But then when that illegal downloading stuff came through, that just gave us like a bit more of exposure to like the world almost. Like the internet just opened everything up. So we were like, yo, there's people like DJ Chino and stuff, and RDB, even before RDB, bro, like Rishi Rich was making like pure garage and stuff like that. And we just fell in love with Punjabi music from there, man. And from there,
you guys were always like computer type people. Like I saw somewhere that you were teaching your computer class teacher how to run programs on the computer,
that's
right?
crazy that you know that.
That's nuts, man. Like you were the first that I saw as an artist on YouTube. You were the first like on Twitter when nobody even knew what Twitter was. What was the I mean, it makes sense now because you're saying you were in your room on the computer, you're figuring all this out. But the attraction to the internet, like I discovered, I still don't even know how to use the internet, but like what was the attraction with you and like getting in touch with the whole world via this computer, PC?
Because it just, bro, it opened us up to all of our interests. Think about it, like I remember back then I was into DMX heavy. Like DMX was my guy. It was always like a thing between me and my brother. He was into Ja Rule, I was into DMX, and it was like obviously, like time is like
You picked the
passed.
right artist.
Yeah, 100%.
He admits it now as well, innit? But nah, we got love for Ja Rule.
No, Ja Rule
Rule's a
would
G.
still be dope if 50 Cent never existed.
Yeah, I know. But who wants a world without 50 Cent as well? At the same time, you know what I mean?
That's it, man.
So, but yeah, the internet was just there, bro, because like we had nothing else to do. Imagine someone puts the internet in front of like a little kid back in those days, and you're just like, you can go and listen to music, you can see pictures. You couldn't even see pictures of these artists back in the day. You would like go and like on these dots. There was like fan websites of DMX. I would go and see like different pictures of him, try and copy his style of dress and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just I was obsessed with it, man. And
You guys were also one of like the first families in your neighborhood that had a computer as well, right?
Yep,
This
that's
was like
right.
when computers were brand new.
100%, yeah.
Was that your parents that influenced that, or was it just you and your brother?
It was my brother, to be honest. Like he put the pressure on my parents. Like, look, man, we need a computer in this house. Was it Packard Bell? Packard Bell, yeah. It was a Packard Bell computer, and like no one on the road, bro. And I still remember to the day when we got the computer, and we didn't know how to use it, bro. Like my mum and dad just spent stupid money, and my mum and dad aren't rich. Like I've never come from a rich family. Like we've always been the type of people that like we've got the bare minimum, but we
Humble
like
beginnings,
make, yeah.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we get through and stuff, bro. We got this computer, and Jazz minimized one of this like pop-ups or whatever it was. When he minimized it, he was like, "What have I done? I've broke the laptop, bro. I broke the computer. Like, where's this thing gone, bro?" It was to that level of like we didn't know what we were doing.
So jokes.
But we just had to like figure it out, man. And like I come back to the teacher thing. By the point I was like 17 or something, I just had that shit clocked fully.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I mean, and it didn't actually start from there, even your hustle. Like I saw that your dad, it wasn't a free ride. He made you guys do like paper runs in the morning at like 5, 6 in the morning. Was that both you guys or just you?
Both of us. It was turn by turn, innit? So once he hit a certain age, he was like, I'm too old to be doing this now. Pass it on to him.
Pass his pile on to you and send you on the road.
It was long, bro. Sometimes having to wake up at like 6 o'clock. I used to hate waking up anyway. And like in the area, the worst thing would be the area we used to do it in. Because like I was a kid, bro. I was 11 years old, and I'd be walking around doing this paper run, and I have like this 30-year-old white guy come up to me like, "You fucking black bastard," and like just like bro, hardcore.
But you're light skinned as well.
Bro, like, but it was at that level, bro.
It's not funny, but it's funny because he called you black. It's like, what the f-?
Bro, they would call you anything out there. They would call you any racist slur that they could think of. They would call you.
That's
we had
crazy.
like the racism to a point was, bro. It was like on the shutter of our shop, go home N-word.
Wow.
My dad getting a knife pulled out on him.
Oh,
like
shit.
just it was bad, bro.
That's
It
nuts,
was really, really bad.
Do you guys
And-
still live out there then, or are you back?
Nah. So we moved back down south, but Newcastle's not like that anymore. Now.
Okay.
Yeah, Newcastle's a lot more chilled out. They've like
Plus, there's way more of us now everywhere too,
Exactly,
right? Like
exactly.
you, even
Yeah.
out here, if you went to the remote areas, like Waterloo, those type
Yeah,
of places
yeah,
that you
yeah.
mentioned, when we were growing up, you couldn't find an Indian. Now you
Exactly.
go out there and it's only
Straight up.
All
Indians.
Indians.
100%,
I was in
yeah,
Shelburne
yeah.
yesterday. It's all Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Shelburne's
That's
like a
truck stop.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
similar, bro. But even like the world's changed now. Like obviously racism still exists like heavily, but back then, like, bro, they would just ignore you. Like, I would go to teachers and be like, "These kids are calling me a girl because I've got like long hair and
Yeah.
stuff." And they would just be like, well, "What do you want us to do?"
They don't
about it?"
care,
Yeah,
yeah.
like it was
Yeah.
just shutting us down
Yeah.
to that very
That's
level.
crazy.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, so
So fuck you, teachers.
yeah, some
It's
of them.
okay. Now
from
we can
back in the
say
day.
no. There's probably a couple cool ones, you know.
Nah, there was a lot of cool ones, man. There were a lot of cool ones. Yeah, I'm making Newcastle sound bad, but
No,
I-
it is what it is. That's your upbringing. I mean, I grew up, in a predominantly white neighborhood as well, and I remember like eating my lunch in the bathroom by myself. You
Yeah,
know, like
100%,
my mom sent roti. I'm not trying to eat that around everybody.
Yep,
Get made
yep,
fun
yep.
of. Sit in the bathroom stall, eat it real quick, and then
bro,
back-
we
I
used
grew
to
up in
ask.
a different generation, man.
Yeah.
I grew up in
Yeah,
fucking
you-
White
you
Town
were
too,
lucky.
man.
I was
Straight
having Bronte
White
in the
Town.
cafeteria with the boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
see that
Yeah.
that sounds like happy.
They probably served Bronte when he was
Exactly.
in
Yeah,
school.
man.
yeah.
Our school used to have kabaddi tournaments and stuff.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. that is-
Going back to the music, so now you're listening to hip hop, so it's all 90s, late 90s, early 2000 hip hop.
Yeah.
Where does the Punjabi aspect come into it?
So it was my older brother. I'm gonna keep saying older brother a lot in this whole thing. So rather than just make it easy,
I
for
had a
everyone, it's
lot of
Jazz,
questions about him, so
Yeah,
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 you can
yeah,
call him
yeah.
Jazz,
Jazz,
but like
yeah, yeah. So-
I know he's a big part of your career.
innit? Yeah, for sure. So it was Jazz basically that got like he was the guy that was on the internet first, like figuring out where to download music from, who's popping, what music is good. And then he's the one that downloaded like the first ever garage Punjabi song that we heard. It was probably like 2001 or something. It was a song with DJ Chino, and I think it was Diljit Dosanjh. It was a Tera Yaar Bolda remix, but a garage remix of the song. And it had this like vocoder in the chorus, and we were just fascinated by this vocoder. Like, we were like, what is that? How does he sound like a robot and he's singing like to that level of innocence? And that's it. From that one song, we started discovering everyone else.
Like the Computer Love song, like that,
yeah,
that voice.
Exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
We were just amazed by it. And then we got onto that song, and then just after that, it was RDB. And then even like the stuff that was going out here, like DJ Sounds, like Little Satch.
APS.
Bro,
Yeah.
APS was very early. For sure. All those remixes used to do like, hi, handsome, hi, handsome.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that
Sick.
sounds
Yeah.
so sick.
Yeah.
Like, it was like bro, for us, that shit was like, bro, it was ecstasy for us at that point, man. We were little kids, just like, these lot of mixing Punjabi music with like Dre.
He's a
Yeah.
legend, man. APS,
And it's like, yo, how is that even possible? I remember I got the Dre 2001 album of my friend. His dad was in the army in like Albania or something like that at the time, and he brought me like a pirated version of Dre. And I'm like, yo, I've just about got this album, and there's people in Canada that like mixing this up with Punjabi music. Like, it's just it was
Crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. purely nuts.
So you're listening to Punjabi music, but then the love for instruments. Did you learn from somebody? Were you self-taught? Like, I always thought you were self-taught because you figured it out in your room, but the way you play, somebody had to teach you something.
So early days, I was self-taught. So the early days, I would say, is just when I like got a MIDI keyboard and just had a very basic setup. Like it wasn't even laptops; it was just a desktop PC. Like,
Is this when you're posting on YouTube? You had the great little MIDI keyboard,
That's
like
it.
the 24 key.
100%, 24 key one. So I thought, like, just let me try and get a small one, try and figure out this first, and then I can branch out to the rest of the keys.
Yeah.
And but at that time it was all self-taught. It was MSN, bro. There was like, I had a guy in Wolverhampton called GURPS. He knew way more than me. He knew so much. He'd send me like scale sheets, like, this is how you play in this key, there's like different rags and stuff. So it was a lot of like being self-taught and like figuring it out from other people, because MSN just connected the world together. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, self-taught is one thing, but like for example, I got a keyboard from him. He was working at a music store, and he hooked me up, and I was like, I'm going to learn the piano or keyboard. Bro, I sat on that thing for like 2-3 days. My fingers were hurting. My neck was hurt. I was like, this is hard, bro. Like, it's not easy to learn this shit. Is there a musical influence in the family, or it's just like it's in you? I don't understand it.
I mean, not really, to be honest.
The reason I asked that is because most artists that come on here come from a musical background. Somebody in the house, some uncle, cha-cha, whatever, you know, and for you, it's like just listening to hip hop in the other room from your brother to like becoming one of the biggest producers in the world on for Punjabi music is just nuts. Like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but that's just dedication, bro. That just comes down to like how hard I want to work. Like, I could have given 30% of what I've done, and I would have been nowhere close to what I've done at this point. I just fell in love with it. It was really as simple as that. Because I started off actually DJing. I started off DJing in clubs, and I wasn't really into that too much.
I saw that. I knew these guys would find that interesting that you were a DJ first, right? But you hated it.
I've never really been like too social. Like, I don't really, even though it makes it look different in the music videos, you probably think that this guy's like a typical guy that just wants to be out all the time and just like party and stuff. But I'm literally the opposite of that, bro. I'm not into that type of shit at all. Yeah. So like for me, it was just be a geek, sit at home trying to figure out that my friends used to laugh at me. They'd be like, what are you doing, like playing the keyboard? Come out and like chill with us and stuff. But nah, I just that was my interest, that was my love.
So now you're learning the keyboard, and you're obviously doing really good at it, but where does the mindset of recording yourself now and then putting it out to the world, where does that come from? Like, one thing is to record yourself and watch and be like, okay, like Dead Wrong by Biggie Smalls.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got my first camera thing, I played the song in the background, I'm like rapping it. Then I watched myself, I'm like, nobody can ever see this ever again, you know? Like, where does the confidence come from of being able to put yourself out there to the world? At that early, like, you were what, maybe 13, 14 at that?
Yeah, probably about 13.
That's
I
nuts.
would say.
Yeah.
That was jazz as well, man. That was just more, I guess it got to a point where I was playing him so much stuff, remixes I would make when I was a kid. At that point, I think I was in like secondary school, which is high school for you guys, and he was in college. And at that point, he had kind of, because he used to actually do the remixing thing first. That was his thing. I copied him and kind of got onto it. And then it got to a point where he just like just got into college life and just doing other stuff and was just coming home and I was playing remixes. He'd be like, "Nah, this is terrible." I was playing beats I was trying to make on Fruity Loops, and he would say to me this one thing like, "Where's the melody? Like, why the beats got no melody?" And he would say, for example, Ja Rule, I think it was Living Up. The melody is dun 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 dun. That's the main chord progression. And then from there, I was like, all right, I got to figure this melody stuff out. So that's where probably my like interest in melody came to like try and come up with melodies myself. And from there, it was just, it got to a point where I was making music to a point where it sounded good to him. And he was like, yeah, let's like try and do something with this now. And he just took it on him to just take my remixes, market it in that time. What year was that? 2000?
Had to be 8 or 9.
Nah, 2000, bro. Like this
Early.
is pure remixing days.
Oh,
okay.
We would market our remixes like to that point, like make CDs, send it to like Movie Box and stuff, and other people in the UK get no response back. He would do like photo shoots with me around the house. At that point, I'd be like, "Yo, we got to market you as an artist," and yeah, from there it just started, and then I started releasing.
Have you
crazy.
seen Wu-Tang, The Saga Continues, the show that they
Yeah,
made
yeah,
with like
yeah.
the remix? It reminds me of like RZA and his brother. Like his brother was the manager guy, like and knew how to do the business. And then there was the artist. It's like that same story. That's crazy.
Pretty much what it is, and it's
That's
still
dope,
what
man.
it is. Pretty much.
It's crazy, but from like a music perspective, like I think you're one of the few producers who keeps melody in his songs.
Yeah,
There's so many, even right now, there's so many songs out. I couldn't even remember the beat, can't remember shit.
yeah,
Can't, or maybe you remember like the vocal
yeah,
composition
yeah,
or something.
yeah,
but
yeah.
with you, I think for the most part, every song you make, I can always remember the melody.
The melody,
And that's a
yeah,
key
yeah.
thing.
It's
I think melody is missing in today's music.
100%,
Completely missing in
yeah,
today's
yeah.
music.
I mean, that's what they say. The saying, I'm probably going to mess it up. It's something along the lines of like, chords is like what you feel, melody is what you remember, and the beat, the rhythm is what you like, what gets you moving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like dancing to. So
100%.
if you can like figure out those three things, you've basically got like a classic, like a banger.
Yeah.
Something that's
100%.
that's going to work. So
I love that.
What did we say when we first walked in here before you guys came? Was I can't name a single song of yours that I could say is a bad song or I would skip
100%.
over.
Yeah.
Every song you can bop your head to. If you wanted to dance to it, you could dance to it. I was like, you should have seen me in the truck on the way, bro. I should have recorded it. I'm singing like, what's Sona, right? It's called from the first album. Bro, I'm singing that loud on the highway, bro. One of my
Bro, that's
favorite
like one of the
all-time
most
tracks.
memorable melodies to that Vajja
Yeah.
piece in there. It's like, it's crazy.
Even like I was telling him, I think in terms of songs, even your songs which may not be like, oh my God, massive hits,
yeah.
they're still bangers. They're still like, people still listen to it. They're still bangers.
I mean, I think that just comes down to like, we only will release like stuff that actually sounds good to us. There's a very like we're very strict with our quality control. If we don't like something, we just don't release it. And we don't even like, because we've got the company as well, Collab Creations, we don't just take any song that comes to us. Like, we actually have to really like something to put it out, which is why sometimes it's so disheartening when you put something out and people are like, first comment is like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's like, what the fuck, bro? I just spent like bare time trying to make this song,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But like at the same time, we're also very like, we got thick skin. Like that stuff doesn't get to me, man.
Well,
It's-
you were known in the early days for talking shit back to people on Twitter
you're
and
right,
like
you're
trolling
right. Yeah,
people.
Even
like,
now, man, your Twitter cracks me
Yeah.
up, bro. I was like going through it yesterday looking for stuff, and then
Yeah, I've become. I'm not gonna lie. I've become a bit lazy with Twitter just because I feel as if I've tweeted everything by this point. Like, what have I missed out? I've been on Twitter since 2010. Like,
Did Twitter send you a check yet? It should, bro. Like you were early. I heard about Twitter like 5-6 years ago. This
You're
guy
a
was
joke.
been on
Yeah,
there.
nah,
it's been
you know-
on forever. Where the fuck have you been, bro?
Yo, man, I just got Instagram when the show started. I'm behind. on a lot of
that
this.
side of the world is always changing anyway, man. Like this, you can have one social media, you can be popping on there now. 3 months later, there'll be something else that's coming out.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm at that point where I'm starting to get a little bit tired of social media, man. Like my ultimate game is like eventually, I don't even like. I've spent my whole practically a large part of my life on social media.
Yeah.
From back in the high five days to MySpace. I don't know what came first, but all of that stuff. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, now TikTok. Like I'm just to a point where like I'm like, yo, I cannot wait for the day where I can just log out of all devices, put my phone away and just live a normal life, man. Like that is the dream.
Where,
Eventually, that's the
where
dream.
did the vision come from of like YouTube? Because it was so new. How did you guys know putting your music on this is kind of gonna get you out? And then how did you figure out like monetizing on it? Because you were, was it Rinder Sandhu 420? That was your original one.
My YouTube,
Who added the 420 in there? Was it the brother? Don't blame him. Bro. Come on.
I'm not gonna lie, that was me, man. I don't know what I was doing. I was some little kid just tripping and shit, bro. 420 on. Yeah, nah, that was me, man. That was just like, I used to watch RDB TV. I'm sure you guys all know about
RDB
RDB.
TV was so sick, bro.
And like that was just like, for me, I used to love interviews with artists. Like, I used to absolutely love. It could be any artist, even something I didn't like listen to. I just used to love learning more about artists. So then I was like, you know, like we've got everything at home. I've got a camera. I play these instruments. Like, why not just make a video of myself playing a harmonium piece and put it on the internet? And it wasn't like, I wouldn't say that was a very like thing that we thought, like a plan we had. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna market you as a kid. I just done it, and like because there was like no one else doing it, and why not? Like, and it just happened to like create more and more of a buzz. And then when it came to like monetizing things, this was in 2007. It was before iTunes. Me, my mum, dad, and Jazz went to India, and we linked up with a guy called Monty out there, who used to sell Punjabi vocals back in those days.
Monty.
Yeah.
You know Monty Sardar?
Yeah.
Monty.
Back then he was
He's a
like
guy.
the man.
Yeah.
He had every vocalist. So I remember going and meeting him, and even when we met him, bro, me and Jazz walked in the room, and he thought Jazz was me, because he was like, when Jazz said to him, "No, this is money," he was like, "Your money, bro. You're like a little fat sing, bro. Like, what? You can't be making these beats." And we bought a vocal back I think back then it was like £125, and then came home, released it, and it was on a platform called 7 Digital Music, where we charged like 50 pence for the song, and I think it sold like 20 like copies or something like that. But that was the start of just like us being to the point where like, all right, labels aren't really listening to these demos. They're not really doing anything to us. We've got this platform. Why not use it? We got YouTube. We got MySpace. Like, let's just try and make the most of it. And honestly, it was just from there. It was just natural. It wasn't even like a strategic move. It was just, this is what we got, so this is what we're going to use.
Even locally, like I don't know where this place is, but I saw you do a live performance at this place, Camden Crawl, where they had you out there like with your harmonium, your computer. He had his laptop, and then he had a keyboard and his harmonium, and he just literally made a beat live in front of an audience, and then started playing the harmonium at the end and like capped off the beat. Like,
that's fire.
Nuts. I can only think of like Icky maybe right now being able to do that, but there's not too many guys who can actually on stage live make a beat like that, you know?
That was like not even thought of. Literally at that point, we were just driving to the place thinking, what can I do that's different? And I had like my laptop with me, just loaded up a session. I actually made that beat before, so it was, I wouldn't say it was rehearsed, because I still did it live, but the beat was made, so I just went back and replayed everything like live in front of people, and they loved it. And again, it was so innocent. Like, it wasn't a strategic move where we thought this is gonna go, people are gonna love this. We just went and done it, and yeah, I guess it was different for people at the time. No one was really doing that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like some young kid making beats and stuff.
I remember watching your stuff as a kid. Like, I came across you in like 2008, and I remember seeing you in the bedroom just shredding the vajja, and I was like, I want to learn how to play the vajja. Like, this is sick, yo.
You could say he made the vajja cool, like
you did for sure, man.
Yeah,
because I remember like when we first seen him, like, okay, this is cool, and then it was like every week there's just like a new video,
a new clip and stuff.
Sick.
Yeah. That's
for all
crazy.
you musical guys. This might be a stupid question, but the vajja, do you play it into a mic or does it plug into your computer?
So the way I've played it so far is, I'm not sure if there's like an electric harmonium.
Nah. There's plugins and stuff.
I mean, there's plugins, but they sound like
you
shit.
put a mic
But
on
you put a mic and you're actually playing that into
Straight.
it, and that's the sound we hear in the music.
Yeah. And like at that point, it was so hard. Like I had no idea about that stuff myself. So we were going from studio to studio, and the area we lived in, Newcastle, there was no Punjabi people there. So we had to go to like studios run by white people that probably didn't really know how to record that instrument. So I would play the pieces, get home, listen to the recordings, and me and Jazz would be like, "Yo, this sounds shit."
Click, worst shit ever.
Yeah, why does this not sound like the way you play it? And it took us time to figure that out. It took us a lot of like just, you know, errors and stuff. But yeah, we eventually got there. And then once I figured that out, that was just my thing. That's the way I'd filled up a song. sometimes I would just have a hook line in the background and play a harmonium. It sounds good.
Is there
even like the
is there a
synth sounds you
secret?
use, like they sound so crazy, even though it's like all like dissy sounding.
Those early stuff,
Yeah.
that was just like, but obviously, one thing I should have mentioned a long time ago was that the melody style of playing was Sangra Vibes.
Yeah.
So that all came from
Yeah,
Sangra
yeah.
Vibes. That was like my. Bro,
I wanted to ask you about that because we
We were
I know
talking
you guys,
about it earlier,
yeah,
yeah.
and I know you guys know each other, or
Yeah,
you guys
yeah,
are pretty
yeah,
close, or were. I don't know.
eventually, eventually,
Eventually.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so I want to hear that. I want to hear that whole story.
So I met Gopi for the first time at the Dord Nikolni video shoot,
Oh shit.
which was years
Ah.
after like I had been influenced from his sound. I still remember today messaging him on High Five and saying like, bro, like I'm like your biggest fan, like please check out this song. And it was a song called Pawara that we had released.
Okay.
And he hit me back. I actually don't know. Sometimes Gopi says it might have even been Manni, his brother,
Yeah,
rest in peace, that passed away. But he was like, yeah, sounds sick. And like the sound, bro, everything they done from Unleashed to all the stuff they did with Untouchables, I was just
Unleashed was
obsessed.
Same, man.
Unleashed was like
yeah.
the number one, like
Yeah, yeah.
craziest, like
That
Bro.
that album is like
fire.
anytime I need inspiration, even to this day, I'll go back and listen to that album, and you can find so many little things. Gopi made me like realize you can really make everything with nothing, because he actually made that album with nothing, bro. It was like he didn't even have monitors. Those speakers that we used to get, the 5.1 speakers that you just plug into.
Logitech.
No
Yeah,
way.
bro, he made the album on that, bro.
Bro, that album
Like
sounds like
computer speakers.
Yeah,
you're talking
computer
yeah,
speakers.
Wow.
That's what that album was made on.
Jangani like the stuff my favorite,
Yo.
like, ultimate song.
And they had like a bunch. They had like 80 vocals, and the vocals they chose, they just got the best of the best out of that 80 bunch of vocals,
That's
and they
sick.
made Unleashed.
Crazy.
And they made the album, and it got wiped from his hard drive,
No.
so he had to make it again.
Holy.
Like it's like so like that stuff just actually makes me think, yo, these guys were on a different level to go through all those like restrictions and loopholes and still come out with a product that is as good as that.
And to redo
is-
it,
and to
that's
redo
nuts.
it is.
I think the
is-
first time I saw them was RDB TV.
RDB TV.
Yeah,
That's when I was
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
They're like in a house. I think their dad
kids.
was there. And
Yeah.
Literally kids, bro.
Yeah.
Even at that point, I was younger than them, but I was like, yo, these lot are like crazy. And then the first thing I heard from them was on Manaki's, I think it was his best album. They done a song called Mohabbat and Sardari, and like, even if you listen to that stuff, it's the early Sangra Vibe sound. You can hear Sangra Vibes in it in like a very like immature way almost.
Got it.
And then Unleashed was just the thing that just took it.
Yeah, yeah,
It
everywhere.
was sick, man.
Everybody okay back there?
I think it was a,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
You mentioned that Pawara song. That was a track that DJ M told me about last night that he actually purchased. You had that for sale, right?
So he was one of the 20.
Yeah. I remember. I think it was like on PayPal or something back in the day.
Yeah,
And my mom
yeah.
was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Just fucking sign up for it and buy the song." Like, credit card
crazy.
information in there.
Yeah, back then it was like no one wanted to give their credit card information on the
Yeah.
internet, bro. It was like it was so hard to get people
I
to
remember
do
seeing it
that.
because there's like a little snippet out, and then we listened to the snippet over and over. And I'm like, okay, we need to get the full song now. Like,
Yeah.
back in the day. bro.
That's another
time
thing
ago.
that you and your brother Jazz had a vision on, because I heard you talk about Apple Music before it was Apple Music and streaming, and
Yep,
you
yep.
said somewhere that streaming is going to become the new thing. It's not about like iTunes anymore and like
Yeah, yeah,
downloading.
yeah.
Streaming's the new wave, and this is right before streaming just blew up. It's
Yeah.
like the visionary in both of you guys and the way that you guys saw the industry and still see the industry today.
Yeah,
You can see it the way you guys release EPs, the way you release your singles. It's like you see the playing field and you kind of flow with it. It's not like
Yeah.
something that is not going to work. Everything you guys do just hits it right on the head. What was it about streaming that you saw was going to work?
I mean, again, I've got to give it to Jazz on that, because I remember the moment we decided that we're just going to give it everything and just do everything ourselves was when we dropped the Nirvana Sandhu. Was it Nirvana Sandhu in demand? Okay, no, that was early days. That was Gunny was so basically Akil had just blown up with the Carb song, and I was working with Akil before that on a song called McCall.
Yeah.
And we already had Gunny recorded, and like the song was basically done. In between all of that happening with me and Akil, he went and dropped Carb, and it just blew up differently. Like that song was like a smash in India. And then we had this song Gunny that Speed Records I think wanted it, and because Speed Records were working with Akil, and then they were offering us like money for the audio and stuff, and Jazz was like, look, if we're gonna do this with you, either we're dropping it or if you want to do this with us, like we need to have some type of ownership of this product. And I remember thinking like, this is why I shouldn't be in that position, because I was like, bro, let's take the money, man. Like, we're gonna be making some money right now. And they were chucking, for that time, they were chucking stupid money at us. But Jazz was like, nope, either we take this deal or we're dropping the song ourselves. And they just gave in. And then from there, Gunny obviously went on to do what Gunny did.
It blew up. Bro.
Yeah.
Let's make some noise for Jazz, bro.
It's true.
Straight
it's
up,
true,
man.
it's true.
That's
Trust me.
crazy.
Hold on, I gotta ask. You guys got percentage mechanical royalties on that, or you guys got a percentage of the, or you guys own the master?
We on the master.
I gotta know that.
We on the master.
Because that's
Explain the
fire.
difference to us, because I have
Mechanical
no idea.
royalties. Like I don't know any India label that gives mechanical royalties at all.
Is that like
They're just, they don't even
performance,
understand it.
streaming,
Like
all that?
anything streaming, all that kind of stuff. Like they're, first off, you probably won't even get it. But number two, I don't know anyone who offers it until like recently, since AP and these guys have been making deals. Yeah, but giving ownership, that's huge, man. That's massive, especially when
Back
that
then as
song's
well.
released. Yeah,
20, like probably when the deal actually happened, it was probably like 2016, 15.
that's
15,
crazy.
16. And like, trust me, that situation has happened so many more times where it's just amplified. And I'm just in the back like, take the money, take the money, take the money. But he's like the master negotiator. He's bare calm. I'm bare like the opposite. That's why I shouldn't be doing what he's doing, and he really shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
I have the patience with the music and stuff, and he has the patience with the business side of it. So that's where the whole just like doing what we're doing with collab creations.
Is that, I was
came
going to
around.
ask, collab creations, was that created during that time?
Probably. I think it was like 2015, 16. Oh, the McCall time. So I don't know what I'm talking about. So McCall was 2013. We decided to drop the first song with Akil on our own page, everything. And we were like, okay, we've done this. And that's probably why I was so hesitant about carrying on with it, because at the time, McCall, it was known by people like amongst our circle, but it wasn't like some worldwide hit or something. So I thought maybe we need a label, maybe we need that strong backing behind us. Which I was like, nah, man, we don't like. We don't. Why do we need that for? Like, you got the music. Like, let the music do the talking, and that's pretty much what we've done from there. And
That's
it's
dope,
just,
man.
I'm curious with that song, with Akil and doing songs by yourself in England. When do you think was the first time you felt like you hit the India market? Like obviously doing, like your like the Manni Sandhu or Nikul
I
and
feel
all
like
that kind of stuff. That was a lot.
Bakshi Billah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that. I was gonna
That's
say
when you think you hit it?
It was probably more Sona.
Okay.
Because like Dorni couldn't done well in like UK, Canada,
Yeah.
maybe America, but Sona is what was like just. I was just that was.
And did you
everyone
feel
went.
like? Did you notice the difference?
I mean, yeah, but like, how could you really notice it back then? It was Facebook, innit?
Yeah, that's it. Really.
So you would get people messaging you from India, sending you videos of it playing on TV out there, and then when we saw it playing on TV, we were like, okay, that's kind of nuts, because we can barely get the UK channels to play our stuff, and these are playing it without even asking us.
It's crazy.
Yep.
So it was like
I did a gig in India like a couple of years ago, and a part of our so we're lazy DJs. We have premixes made for the first like hour of the party. Sona is one of the songs, and then I was playing it in India like this at this wedding I was DJing.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody walking up to me, they go, "Oh, we haven't heard this song in so long. Like, what's it called?" And it's such a good song. I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, it's big out here like that. Like I always knew your stuff was big out like in the West, but.
Bro, we never knew ourselves. Like, we
Yeah.
had people calling my mum and dad saying like, "We just saw your son on TV," and they're saying it to us, and we're like, "What? Like, it's like that out there." And then we started going back to India every year, and that's where we met people like Akil. We started talking to people like Rob Gill back in those early days. A bunch of people, bro. A bunch of people that are like popping now. Back in those days when we were working with Akil, we were working with Jordan Sandhu.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Before he was like
Yep.
Jordan Sandhu's Hostinder.
Damn.
You did work
Just-
with Hussein there as well.
Yeah, back in those days,
No
bro.
way.
And like just a bunch of people. We just went out there. Me, Jazz, and Gopi went out there to just.
So how did
get
you like come
singers on
across
board.
like Jordan Sandhu? From what I know, like from what I've researched, like Sardar Bande was like his first proper release, or was it?
Yeah, so I guess so. We had 2 trips to India, key trips. The first one was 2013, I believe it was, and we went out there working with like our idols. So the idols were people like Feroz Khan,
Crazy.
Rani Randeep, Jeevan Man, anyone on Ghadir Kant, all these singers that we just rated as singers. And bro, within 6 months, I remember going back with all these vocals, the industry had changed. You had all these new people like Justy Gill coming out, these young guys.
Yeah.
And like people didn't really want to know all these other singers. And we're like, yo, we got sick vocals from these guys. Like we can make banging music. But at that point, we kind of realized, yo, this industry is changing. It's not about that anymore. You got to find a real good balance between trying to make good music and have someone that's kind of marketable. So the second trip we went out and did was Akhil, Jordan, Hostinder, bunch of other young people. And that's when we realized, all right, there's more than just making good music. You really need to market someone and push them out in.
You were right on that brink of like that change from vocalist to image, right?
Yeah.
Even 100%. If we go back to your album, I know we fast forward a little bit, but your album in 2012, My Time, still a legendary album in itself. Like the intro, Jali Man, I don't want to say, bro. The way that he like bigs you up, and then it's just your beat for the beginning of that, and the way that it comes in is just nuts. And like that whole album coming together, how did you even get in contact with those vocalists? Like, did you have to pay for all those vocals and like again, Jazz, Whelan, Dhillon?
No, so my first album, My Time, was made with a label called Brown Boy Music. So they were a relatively new label in the UK. Like, I guess, who was their competitors at the time? Movie Box and VIP, maybe. This was an unknown label.
So this is before Sunny Malton and Big Bird were even existed.
Yeah. But it's all good. They can claim that. They've done a lot more with the name than I did. But yeah, they were called Brown Boy Music and stuff. And the guy called Sanj, he was just down to just like, I guess he just saw something in me. He saw that, yo, this kid is making good music, and he would just buy the vocals that I said that I wanted to work on, and he would just give. I made that album in uni.
Was there very many other producers dropping albums at that time that you guys can remember
from the UK?
From the UK or even in
general? I feel like B2 and Taji were doing their thing around that time.
Probably them lot.
Like Sick and Twisted stuff was coming out around then.
Yeah.
I mean, like I remember seeing him in his uni bedroom. I don't know if it was My Time the album Dora Nicolini was on.
Yeah, like when people were like Sangra Vibes.
People like Sangra Vibes. I remember seeing like the breakdown, like sitting in like the kitchen or whatever, and he's like, "Here's the toll,
bro.
Here's
literally,
the beat.
That's what
here's
it was
the vocal."
Like, yeah.
I feel like you did that. You were one of the first to do that. Break down all your tracks. Like even your biggest hit off that Dora Nicolini. People thought that you didn't produce it. It was Ghost produced. And then he literally just turns on a camera and shows people how he made it.
Yeah.
And
I was trying to find that video
files.
yesterday. I couldn't find it, bro.
I was vexed, bro. I was like, yo, I spent all these years learning how to do this stuff. I just about made this song. I've like almost like went through like back in those days, it was hell, bro, to try and make something sound good. So like I was like, yo, I can't let people just say that to me. Nah, man. I made this stuff. I want to show people that I made it. And I still remember on like Punjab 2000 message boards, people were just like, some people were still trying to question me, bro, like trying to say like, this guy, nah, he's just got like stems off Sangra Vibes and he's done it from there. But then it was very early days of me like being
clapping back.
Yeah, clapping back and stuff. And then after a while, you just, that's a battle you're not going to win.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Dora Nicolini, biggest track, it like if you grew up in that age, that was the soundtrack to your life as a teenager in your early 20s.
Yeah.
I don't know who was in that intro, but it sounded like my mom on the phone to me and like your guys' moms probably as well.
It sounds like everyone's mom.
Yeah. Was that your actual mom?
That was my actual mom.
That is crazy.
Was that rehearsed or was it like an actual?
So, all right. So this is another story.
That whole thing. That was
we
crazy.
had an original voicemail, which was a real voicemail left by my mom to Jazz. This was like going back to those days where I was just like discovering the computer and like learning how to make music. He would go out, he would sneak out the house, college days and stuff like every other kid would do. And my mom is like mad desi, bro. Like she is like a G as well. She's desi and she's a G. So like, I'm scared of my mom basically. You know, like,
we all are. Yeah.
Who is it?
Yeah. So bro, she would leave like voicemails to Jazz, and to one point we were like, this is actually funny. Like we should show people this. So we recorded it, and it was so bad. When we decided that we should make a song around this, we couldn't use the voicemail in the actual song because she was saying like real swear words. And we're like, do the same thing again, but like cut down these swear words. So we had to rehearse the actual one that was done. We had to cut it up.
It's the way that she said it felt so real. Like answer when you got the door to bar, like that. All that stuff is like exactly
I remember when
what
that
they
song
would say.
came out. I was in high school at the time, and like we used to DJ a lot of Sweet 16s and stuff. So like that song, the week it dropped, like everybody heard the teaser like the week before. The Don't Nicole, and then the week that it dropped, we DJ'd a party and like probably like 10 times replayed that song, and everybody's just like
nuts, bro, nuts.
Fuck on it, bro.
I remember being at uni in the little IT lab that I used to be in, logging off and thinking, if this has like 500 views by the next day, I'll be happy on YouTube. bro, woke up in the morning at 10,000 views.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Back
And
then too.
Back then, and I was like, I don't know if this is like a known thing, but I think Dorni Kulli was one of the first Punjabi music videos to hit 1 million views. You know,
Was it?
Yeah, but
That's
it was
crazy.
around about the time it happened with Dorni Kulli and Honey Singh's song,
It's like Luck 28.
that Pyar Tenu Karda Gabru.
Gabru, J-Star, yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
that one. But like then after that, the views were just going higher and higher every day, and then I started noticing Canada like.
It was big in Canada, huge. I remember. I think he came down for like a show.
Exactly.
I was because that was around time I was like finishing high school. We're about to go to the university, and like he was getting booked out for shows and stuff. So like, oh shit, I want to get booked to DJ.
Who wrote that song? I know Moniki sang it, but
So the way that song came about was we had the voicemail. We contacted a writer in the UK called Manjeet Taliwal, and we said to him like, "We've got this like voicemail. Can you make a song around this concept of like?" Did she say something? Did mom say something? Dor Nikulli? So in the end of the voice note, she says Dor Nikulli. So we said,
Yeah.
like, can you write something using that line, like that kind of tagline? And then bro, within 10 minutes he had the hook line done.
because I felt
That's
like you guys were
crazy.
involved in it, like the way that the
Yeah.
lyrics go. I don't want to screw it up and embarrass myself, but like the whole, all of it just sounds like it was like a true story that actually happened.
I think even choosing Monarchy to sing it, I think
Yeah,
that's
he's
the
like a
best.
fatherly figure.
He's that guy.
Well,
you know?
that's the maddest thing because we were trying to figure out who could sing it. The other people that were potentially going to sing it was Manjeet Pappu. He was very close because Monarchy had just come off the Bollywood fame on Besa.
Besa, yeah.
So it was almost impossible to get him at that point. And like we thought Monarchy is never going to happen. Like let's just forget about that. Manjeet Pappu was one person. Meet Malkeet was another person. And I can't remember. There's probably a few other names. But somehow the Sanj Bramble music just got through to Monarchy. We got that locked in. And I was so gassed, bro. When I found out Monarchy was doing it, because I was a Sangha Vibes fan, I was like, this is like,
That's
this is
crazy.
perfect, man. Yeah.
Even we talked about Sona being a huge track and what introduced you to the Indian market, but that video was insane as well, and it was something that that was the first time we saw like the breakdown of a music video. You shot all the B-roll in the background and like meeting the girl, rehearsing all the stuff that you were talking to her about and all that.
Yeah.
That was dope. What was the idea behind that? Like,
Yo, sorry, before I let you guys continue, I actually got to bounce.
Yeah.
I got a gig.
Cool.
hold on, we got to
Nice
tell
to meet you.
everybody where you're going, man.
I'm going to DJ a wedding.
So
by the
he's
way.
DJing a wedding. He came to make sure that he
Yeah.
didn't miss Manni
Which
Sandhu. We
appreciate
couldn't
it.
do it
I'll
without
listen
him.
to the rest on
He's
YouTube.
in for it at least, isn't it?
Cheers.
Why don't we get Jazz to sit in? Because so much of this has to do with Jazz. Can we get Jazz?
I mean, at this point, we probably should.
Yeah, Jazz, do you mind jumping in
Sure.
with us? Come on, bro. With the whole episode has to do with you. At least let people see who you are. Come on. You sure? All right. All right. But what made you think about doing the B-roll and involving all that in
It's gonna come back to him again, man. Jazz, isn't it? It was more like
Jazz? The tequila's closer over here, bro. It's easier to reach it.
yeah. But, I mean, that's just been like a marketing thing that we've always had, like just showing people what goes on behind what we do, and just I guess we just once we started putting that type of footage out, we started realizing that people actually really like seeing this stuff, and it's almost as if people were shy to show it, like show. People didn't want to see the process behind making a beat because I don't know, maybe some people thought anyone can go off and do this.
Yeah.
But that's actually not the case.
Not the case.
We-
No,
we-
you could show. I could
realized
watch your.
years
I've
later.
watched your videos hundreds of times. There's no way I can repeat any of that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the behind the scenes was just staying active. Like YouTube is all we were watching at that point. So it was like, how can we just be a part of this platform? So we would just stay active on there, on Facebook, MySpace, whatever.
After that album drops, obviously it's an international hit. Everybody in the world now knows you, from North America to India to the UK. What was it that started connecting you? I know you guys started taking trips out to India. Did Akil reach out to you guys, or did you guys reach out to him? How was that connection?
No, so basically the first trip we went out, I think it was 2013. The trip I was saying that we were meeting like a lot of the old school singers, right?
Yep.
During the session, there's this young kid. He must have recognized me from the Sauna video. So he comes over, sits down, and he's like, yeah, listen, I sing and stuff, I make music. We heard him sing. And then at that point, this is such a like, almost like a pivotal part of my career where I remember we've almost just wrapped up all these vocals with all these other singers, which at the time I thought, yeah, they're good songs. But when I heard this guy sing, I was like, yo, this guy is so sick. But it's almost like I've just done all of this. Like, what am I supposed to do with this new guy now? My mind couldn't even process like this guy. We've just found a kid who's like making like amazing music. So we took his details down. And when I went back to the UK, while I was working on all the other stuff, he sent me his vocals for McCall. And like, it just kept on happening naturally. Like the stuff I was working on with the older singers wasn't really working. It just wasn't sounding very good. But everything I would work on with Akhil just sounded good. So just eventually we just ended up transitioning more towards that way. And then that's where the industry changed. All these channels became like big in India. We had all these singers like Jussie Gill and like beer of them. Like all these young guys just came out of nowhere. It was almost like overnight. And like they looked good in their music videos, and that was the scene.
Yeah, everybody's looking for that young
Yeah,
star.
yeah.
Even with McCall, like that music video, was that his label that put all that together? Because that was like a straight up movie, the way you guys made that. Like,
Yeah.
I hated you and that girl in that video, but then I liked you at the end of it. Like,
Yeah,
roller
exactly.
coaster of emotions. Who thought of all that and put that together?
So that was pretty much, I would say, all of our videos. We have like a very heavy input into like what the video is. So that was from the start. Even before that, like Dordney Kunli and stuff, we pretty much come up with all our own storyboards and stuff. Like, so that was us working with True Makers, who shot the video, who were at the time, they were like very successful music.
Yeah.
They're like, directors
Yeah.
now. But at the time, they were just Akhil's boys from his like college and stuff. They were like, yeah, we can make a video. So we just trusted them with the vision. There was a budget where like the budget was so bad for like, not bad, it was a high budget for the time, but like we were borrowing money, we were working and like putting money towards. Jazz was like chipping in, I was chipping in, Akhil was chipping in, the video directors were chipping in just to make this one
Shit.
music video that like we could all be proud of. And it pretty much set him off as
Yeah, you could
As
see
a-
the
Yeah,
final product
that
came
stapled
out.
him in the
Yeah.
industry
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah. So after Akhil, once I had Gunny come out in like 2016, I had like a year or something of just doing nothing. I was still quite young at that point. Jazz, we were just trying to figure out what else can we do, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we went back out to India, and we were working with a singer called Binny Tur, and Binny introduced us to Navan. And I remember this guy walking into the room, and he was just bare arrogant, bro, for no reason. And I'm just like, I'm playing him beats, and he's just shutting them down and stuff. And I'm like, this guy's about to sing, and I really hope he's not good because I'm going to shut him down. And he sang, and he was so sick, bro. Like
Yeah.
his vocals just like shook the room. And I was like, fuck, he's actually good. I have to work with this guy now. But we recorded Navan that day. This was when we were going to India, just with my laptop in my suitcase. Just we had that, I don't know what it's called. It's like the board that goes around the mic.
Yeah.
And we would
Yeah.
just put it on in the hotel room, record singers,
That's it.
mobile, like everywhere we went. And started working with Navan from there. And that's where I would say the next chapter of what we're doing probably begun, where Gertz and all these other people came through. With
Okay.
Navan, his first song was In Demand that we dropped.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
I was
right.
I was on my boy Stag, Jags' Stag, and like we're just chilling. And I had this sample on my phone for about 6 months. I was like, let me just put this on my Instagram story.
Where were you guys for the stag?
Barcelona.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys all do Spain in the UK, right? Everybody goes out to Spain.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's hot. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's better than the UK.
No, Spain is nice. I've been to south of Spain, Marbella, Malaga,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, those
Yeah,
areas
yeah,
are pretty
yeah,
cool,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
dope.
It's like typical like stag areas.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you just want to go to like just get fucked up, that's
And
the place to go.
so you guys made the track at the stag?
No. So
No.
the
Oh.
song was made like at least 6 months before the stag. I just had it on my phone. We'd sent it to Navan already. Navan was like, "Yeah, it sounds okay," but nothing was really happening. I guess maybe at that point we were a little bit lazy in the music. We weren't really doing much. We were still trying to find something. But I put that story on my Instagram, and I just had a caption saying "In Demand." That's where the title of the song came through. And bro, like my Instagram blew up just off that one story, and that was it. We put the song out there. Overnight, there was this new singer, Manni Sandhu, and everyone was like, "Who is this guy?" And we started working with him, and then that's when the new chapter came of like Navan, Gurge, and just a bunch of other people as well that was involved in the mix as well. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Manny, again, thank you so much, man, for coming out, spending time with us, sharing your
Sure,
story.
sure.
We got a lot more to talk about, but before we do, you mentioned it at the beginning, when we were pouring some drinks about Drink Champs. And
Yes.
my inspiration for this show came directly from Drink Champs.
Yeah.
I was talking to your brother at the break about, New York hip hop and the influence it had on us.
Yeah.
Something that we picked up from my favorite show was celebrating the artists while they're alive. We like to think about our artists and celebrate them and post them once they've passed on or they've moved on. But while you're here in the flesh, we want to celebrate you. We want to make sure that you know we love you. We're big fans of you. Canada loves you. And in Punjabi culture, we like to celebrate with laddus. So we give out laddus at all our celebrations. You're getting a roka done. You're getting a wedding. You know, any celebration we give laddus.
Do you guys do this normally? Because I swear I've never seen.
No, we just started that.
We just started it, and you're one of the first. So we want to give you your laddus while you can still eat them, while you can still share them with the boys.
That's it.
So shout out to you, man. Let's make some noise for Manni Sandhu, man.
You got to eat one too. You got to have some, you know?
Yeah.
Are you a sweets guy?
I mean, yeah. Oh, but in terms of like, I'm not a chocolate guy. I love like sweets, like fizzy sweets and shit.
Got it.
Man, we were talking about that with you UK fellas with
Munch up a laddu,
even the drinks, man. You guys mix it with like the most sugary drinks, like what's that? I'm gonna screw it up. It's an orange drink. Iron brew. Yeah. Mixing that with like vodka, man, I'm hungover the next day, bro. It's too much sugar.
You don't eat this, innit? Come on, pass it on. Come on.
That was a Desi thing too. No. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's for you guys. That's our love and appreciation we got to show
man.
to you. And we
man.
appreciate
Always
everything you've given to the culture, to the music, to the industry. Thank you for that, man. I know speaking on the music, JJ's got something to say.
Yeah. I think I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I know like I have it in my head. I don't know exactly how it's going to come out, but music wise, one thing I've noticed in all the music that you make, regardless if it's a minor scale, major scale, whatever you end up making, it's always on the happier side of things. It's always got like a positive vibe to all your music, even if it's on a minor scale.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that just comes out? Is that like actually done on purpose, or like, because I feel like no matter what I listen to of yours, it's always got a positive vibe to it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. We had this exact same conversation with True School years ago. And he was saying that like we're almost at the opposite ends, where his music is normally
super minor, dark, aggressive.
Dark, and mine is like happy. But the happiness comes from Sangra Vibes. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Because if you listen to a lot of Sangra Vibes music, that is also the happier side of like the minor scale.
Yeah.
It's probably just what I like to listen to, bro. Like a lot of the songs that I actually like to listen to are a little bit more melodic, a little bit more on the, like, even if it's minor chords, you can play minor chords in a very like happy, sometimes it's not even happy, it's like a romantic type of feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always led to that direction more than the other stuff, because that's just not what I listen to. The stuff that I listen to on a day-to-day basis is the happiest stuff of music. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's my style. And sometimes it probably gets a little bit annoying because like people come to me for certain types of songs. Like people always come to me for a romantic song.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like I know I can do well on this, but I can also, there is another side of me where I can do that dark sound as well, like that kind of maybe a bit more of a gangster sound, but even my gangster sound has a little bit of melody in it.
Well,
all the time,
the track one on the happier side, the track you did with Himmat Sandhu recently. Yeah.
What was it called?
Lara Lappa. That was horrible. So
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Bomb. Fucking one of my favorite tracks, I think, in the last like 5 years. All music together. I loved even the mixing of it. I fucking loved everything of it.
I don't think anyone else loved that song.
I swear to God, I love that song. And I think Himmat Sandhu is a bomb ass artist.
Yeah, he is.
And for him to come correct on that, and you had was it some Sher Sandhu's lyrics?
Yep.
I love that whole thing together.
Yeah,
I think that's bomb. But on the other flip side, I've heard your dark stuff. Where you like that track you did with Just Meet. Remember back in the day?
That beat.
That was like one of the first time I heard you actually make like a gangster ass beat. And I was like, yo, this guy can fucking make everything.
But the thing is that those gangster beats, I've just never managed to find someone to like come through on the song, I guess. Like for some reason, like I have so many gangster beats that just don't get used, because I feel like this is like you as a producer, you'll know this. Sometimes beats get filled up where a producer's trying to like fulfill like
100%,
almost like fulfill their ego, like I'm making a good beat, but you got to make space in a beat
100%.
for a vocalist, right?
Yep.
Because in terms of like a song, the vocalist is the biggest instrument on the whole song, right?
Yep.
Whereas like my romantic stuff, maybe it might have some chords in there, it might have like a progression, but my gangster beats, I just load it up with samples and just anything that can make it sound even better. So maybe that's what puts artists off, like working on that type of stuff. But
that's what I think is missing in music right now. Like right now in music, even the gangster type of music, it's just chords. It's just warped out, washed out fucking samples and just heavy 808s. Yeah, it's got space in the track, but it's got no memorability. Like zero memorability.
True,
it's like here now, gone tomorrow. Here now, gone tomorrow.
I would say one of my biggest influence from like the hip hop producer scene was Trackmasters.
Okay.
And they had a way of making the very commercial stuff with like Mason, like everyone they worked with, like all that commercial stuff. But they also made G beats for like LL Cool J and like a whole bunch, 50 Cent, like a whole bunch of people. So, but their G beats also had melody in them. So that's like just. I gotta be able to feel something, man. I'm not just gonna make something for the sake of it, just because it's like that type of sound. So yeah, my beats that are a little bit more aggressive will always have some element of melody. I guess Diggy's probably the only singer that's accepted it, because some of his songs that I've made on that tip are a little bit more like that. But it's one of them ones, man. You make a lot of beats, like 20% of them get used in it, so you can't really, you can't get too emotional over that type of stuff, man. You just got to keep it moving.
So now you wanted to go into talking about a very important person.
Yeah, so I guess we spoke a lot about like me being self-taught and like working on like with Sangra Vibes and stuff like that. So there was a key person involved in everything. So while I was at uni, I went to uni in Leicester, DMU. While I was out there, Jazz messaged me and was like, and I never knew Sangra Vibes at this point. He was like, you know, Sangra Vibes' dad, like the Sangra Vibes are from Leicester, like you can potentially get some lessons and stuff. At that point, I never knew anything about minor, major, nothing. I just knew how to play melodies.
Yeah.
Is this, you've already dropped your first album?
At this point, I was still working. Nah? It's my third year of uni.
Dropped it.
Third year of uni. Maybe I had, probably 2012 it came out. So yeah, it was probably dropped by that point. But
and then you went for lessons.
And then I went for lessons.
Wow.
Damn. Yeah. So I was self-taught to a certain point, but I would say the lessons came through after like 2013, and I started getting taught off Kopi's dad, Sangra Vibes' dad.
Damn.
He's the one that taught me about stuff like Bervi, Sarang, Darbari, and like a whole bunch of other, like he taught me like the main rags that we would use in South Asian culture.
Sorry, for me, it makes zero sense. I know he knows exactly what you're talking about. What does that mean exactly?
So like Sarang, and Sarang is happy, like your happy rag. Like you can make a lot of happy music.
He doesn't even know what rag is.
Yeah. Well, I kind of get that. I've heard that.
Rag is like a scale, right?
A scale,
so like,
yeah.
Imagine you got like your keys from like...
It's like he was saying you're always in a happy scale kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. So you got like keys on the keyboard from C to B.
Yeah.
You can only hit a certain number of those keys.
Like when you go dun 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 dun, that's another scale.
It's like going up the keyboard and coming back down the keyboard. The way you go up and the way you come back down, that's the rag. But it might be in like a... I'm gonna go way over his head.
So someone says to you, you can only hit these keys on the way up and on the way down.
Okay.
That's going to create a certain emotion.
Uh-huh.
So that's going to create like, for Sarang, it's a happy emotion because the keys that you're hitting are just a bit more jolly.
Yeah.
Bervi is a bit more dark, and you can go a little bit more like straight, basically 100%.
Yeah.
So it's just different. Like that's what I learned then, and then that just broadened me to a whole new like world almost of like, oh wow, I can also do a minor song and sometimes even use like chords that like even if it's a dark song, I can use happy chords on it, and that changed the whole feel of the whole song.
Isn't it crazy? It fucking blows your mind. You're like, what the?
It's insane.
People do this?
Music is actually it's a bit of a head fuck, bro. Like frequencies just make these sounds, and like you play one frequency with another frequency, and that makes a chord, and like it's just like, bro. Like,
sometimes the less you know, the better it is.
It's so
Swear
true.
To God.
So true.
The biggest thing that tripped me out was I had a lot of mosquitoes in my backyard, and there's a thing on Spotify. It makes a noise, and mosquitoes go away from it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah.
I hope you had that in in '96 when I got fucking abused by like 100 mosquitoes, bro. My skin was all like red and shit.
What do you guys call them out there? Midgie bites, right? Or is that Scottish?
What? Wait,
in the UK?
But we ain't got no mosquitoes in the UK.
No mosquitoes. Oh, it's just out here.
We're chilling. We're good.
So you're learning from Sangra Vibe's
His dad. Yeah.
And then
Awesome, yeah.
while you're in uni at Leicester, you're taking these lessons. How far do you go into taking these lessons?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It was only at the time I was at uni, because then I moved back to Newcastle, which was like 3 hours away from Leicester. So it was like I would go down to see him every now and again and try and get some knowledge. But that's where just, I guess, things change, man. The world changed as well.
Yeah.
Music changed. Everyone started using a mouse to like click in keys and chords and stuff. And I'm not saying that I went that direction, because I would definitely stay true to the way I've come up. But in a very sad way, it's almost like that stuff became less relevant in our industry, because not even in our industry, just music in
100%.
general. Like, you got like kids in the hip hop industry that they don't know anything about music. They just know what a scale is, and they know how to use FL Studio. It's almost like a game to them. Wow. It's almost like how we grew up playing GoldenEye. To them, it's just clicking in notes and making something sound good. Yeah. And the industry went that way.
It fucks you up when you don't know rags and you're doing like Indian music. You can click in notes and it might work with like an English song in a minor scale or whatever it is. Do that do a minor scale in a Parvi rag. It's gonna fuck it up completely. It's gonna, but it's still a minor scale, but it's gonna fuck it up. And people just don't. It's crazy how people can't hear that it's off. Yeah. There's so many songs that are out in the industry that are not correct, and they're hits, and you're like, holy shit.
That's what I was going to say. How much
difference.
does it actually matter to the mass public? Like, you guys are speaking and all these numbers and letters are going in the air in my brain, but like, how much does that matter to the mass public when a hit is a hit at the end of the day, right?
I would say I learned very early on that it actually doesn't matter. Like, I could be doing all of this. I could be learning as much as not trying to say that you shouldn't do that, because I think you should do that. You should, like, at the end of the day, we're doing music. You should try and like
learn your craft.
Yeah, learn your craft to the absolute until you can't learn anymore. However, is it relevant in this day and age? I would say, yeah, it's gonna get you by. It's gonna help. It's gonna help you more than someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
but
or working with an artist that is like a musically inclined artist. If you don't know, if he says, "Hey, put it in this scale," the guy's looking around like,
I think it's
Jazz,
career
you know?
longevity too.
100%.
Like, you want to have a 3-year bomb career because you made hits, cool. You want to have a 20-year long career because you can do this, scoring, blah, 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 this, that, and the other.
Longevity, for sure.
You got so much more longevity in this career.
I guess what I'm trying to say, there is the other perspective of it, where you have kids that don't know anything about that, and they've also made bangers.
Yeah.
Like, because it's almost just to a point where it's so easy to make music that you don't really need to know how to do that. But yeah, if we're talking about longevity, you would really want to know what you're doing. You want to have like some experience behind you, some knowledge behind you to like take the culture forward. Like, you need to have the basics. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I get it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I was just thinking in my head, and especially now that I've met Jazz, when is the Manni Sandhu documentary coming out? Because there's got to be more than enough footage that you guys have that you could put something out going from your teen years to now. Is it in the works? Can we talk about it?
It's definitely not in the works. I mean, we've definitely got mad footage. Like, we've pretty much documented everything from my come up, those early days, to every artist we've worked with. Like, everyone, we've got footage of everything. So yeah, maybe in the future, but I feel like we're not even close to like that at the moment. We've still got like a lot of passion for this music industry to try and take it further in terms of what we're doing to like finish off. We're nowhere near of finishing off the story.
As a fan of the music, I'm really happy to hear that, because if you were saying you guys are getting to the end in retirement, I don't want to hear that right now. We need guys like you and Thingy in the industry, Jazz, behind the scenes to continue to push that culture forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would say, like, even in terms of music, I grew up in an amazing time. I was born in an amazing year where I got to experience garage music, hip hop music, Punjabi music, drum and bass, jungle, dance, house. Like, I grew up listening to all of these genres. So like, that's actually what I grew up listening to. So I can tap into any bag at any point. Once I've rinsed this sound, all right, what can I do that's different?
Yeah.
Why don't I just go do a drum and bass song, or like do a jungle song or something, or do a pop song? I grew up listening to a lot of like funk stuff. Like, the stuff that we listen to hip hop music is all sampled from like old school disco, funk music, jazz music. So like, in terms of longevity, we're going to be around for however long we want to do this, basically. That's what I feel. As long as we've got the motivation behind us, we'll still be around.
Yo, that sounds like a fucking intro for this. Right?
Speaking of documentary, shout out to AP Dhillon and his whole squad. They released at Amazon Prime, which was a great documentary. You were at the beginning of their career. Majid track, you guys worked together on that. How did that collaboration become? Did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you?
So that was, again, more Jazz. So Jazz is the guy that always keeps his ears to like what is going on in the underground scene of the Punjabi music industry. So everyone we've pretty much found has come through Jazz. Navan, AP, Grinda, who else? So like it was always like I think around about the time when Jazz found him was when they had made Most Wanted. Even before that, he had his eyes on him.
Like where they were using other people's beats kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, even Majid it's that What's Love beat. But I heard that, I thought you sampled it, but I heard that you recreated that whole beat from scratch.
Well, that's one thing, innit? Like, I guess it's something you got to take with a bit of pinch of salt, because sometimes as producers, we become so obsessed with making something sound perfect. That beat was recreated. It wasn't like a sample direct from there or anything like that. It was fully recreated, innit?
But like, insane. I guess when you hear that, like, you could never.
I remember
tell.
I spoke to you about it when it came out. You were like, "Yo, I thought you sampled this shit." I was like, "Nah, bro. Like, we're so obsessed with this shit, but we want to make it sound as good as the final product." And that's happened with other songs. People don't really understand that the amount of work that goes behind making a sample sound original, because that's what I do. I don't like just. I'm not like, come on, I've been doing music thing for so long. Like, why would I want to just go like jack shit and like be a copy and paste artist? That's not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, even if you pay for the sample, it's just a different thing. But like, just the fact that you took the time to recreate that whole beat 100%, and it sounded identical, in a great way. It was nuts.
When you play it back to back, now you're like, you can hear like the subtle differences.
Yeah.
But off of first listen,
I would say for us, it's like that is the original is the original.
But as you hear it in its entirety, you're like, yo, the fuck, this sounds like it's sampled. But when you listen to it, it's done so well, it fits that track so well.
Yeah. I remember True School back in the day used to say the same thing, man. He used to say that like his music, the East Coast sound that he had sounded so good that people would say to him that it's sampled, but it wasn't sampled.
I asked him full out, I'm like, did you sample this? He's like, nope, created it from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I guess the people don't really see the hours that go behind that grind, because it really is like, for us, someone like me that hasn't got like a sound engineering background, like, I'm just doing the stuff off my experience basically, and it actually is days and days and hours of sleepless nights to make something sound good, because I'm the type of person where if I'm not satisfied with something, I just can't sleep at night. I'm almost like, I become obsessed with it, trying to make that shit sound perfect. And sometimes people don't really see that grind, and it's like, it can get frustrating, but it's what it is, man. It's just, it's the music industry, innit?
What was the reason for no follow-up tracks with them? Like, you guys made a crazy hit that I feel like anybody who does a song with you kind of gets established in the industry. However you want to take that, it's you make bangers. That's just what you're known for. What was the reason that you guys didn't follow up and make more music?
I'll be honest with you, there wasn't really any reason. It wasn't like a thing that like we thought we're not going to carry on working or anything like that. I guess maybe from our point of view, it was probably more of a natural thing where they carried on doing what they were doing, and then we eventually came across Diggy, and we just, we got busy with him, so we just started making music with him. So it wasn't really anything that like we thought of. It just, we made one song together, which was a sick song. I'm proud of that song. And that's it. We just moved on with our careers, isn't it?
I'm gonna ask you about a couple songs, because there's so many big names, and I hope you don't mind me going through them. But another artist that we're big fans of, that's kind of pioneered it for the female industry, is Jasmine Sandlas.
Yeah.
What was that interaction like, working with someone like her, who seems like she's like a really outspoken, knows what she wants type of person?
That was a really good experience. I remember first time meeting her, I was like, this chick is crazy. Like what? Like, she's just like so outspoken. And I remember at the start, we had like a bit of almost like a bit of an awkward exchange where like, I didn't really understand her, she didn't really understand me. But like after that, we were just like proper on a good level. She came to the UK for 2 weeks, stayed like around the corner from my house, was chilling with my family and stuff, and we just worked on the project together. We had the video shoot booked and no song ready, nothing. I think we got the song done like 3 days before the video shoot. So she's like someone for sure that is like, she's a special talent, and I've genuinely really enjoyed working with Jasmine.
She writes and sings, right?
She does write and sing. Yeah, that specific song we got someone else to write it. It was KV Singh, who's also very
from out here. The US. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, sick artist as well. He wrote that song. Again, it was so last minute. The week of the video, we're trying to get the lyrics sorted out.
And you already had the video booked, so you got to make a song now.
And she's the type of person where she's so chilled. Like, I'm stressing, like, yo, we got to shoot a video this Sunday. We got no song, no vocals. And she's like, yeah, Manny, let's go for coffee. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't want to go for coffee. Let's try and get this song done. But she has a very like calm aura around her, which
that's like this guy. Me, he's like, we're shooting a podcast tomorrow. I was like, we don't have a video crew. He's like, don't worry, we'll figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good. Figure it out. It's good to have someone like that around you. You know what I mean?
Another one we like to say he's at the top of the food chain, Diljit Dosanjh.
Yeah.
How was that interaction working with that guy? Like, we've heard from other people, and I kind of know what you're gonna say, but I got to hear it from you yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I would say everyone that's worked with Diljit, he is actually just overly humble.
That's
to a point where it's like, yo, you know, you're Diljit, bro. Like, you can
you can act like Diljit.
You can floss a little bit, but. Nah, he's a proper humble guy, man. The way that song came about was that we actually recorded that song with a guy in India called Gurnazar Jatta. Yeah. So I made that song with him in India, and we loved the song. Like, it was a banging song. Played it to Speed Records, but they didn't want to do the song at the time. They thought it was slow or something. And then I linked up with Kali Quest, sent him a bunch of songs. That was one of the songs. Diljit heard it, loved it, reached out to Speed. We cleared it all that up.
And that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Obviously, when it's Diljit, it's him, innit? And that's it. It was really pretty simple, man. He was just mad, like, just chilling with me on the phone. We had a studio session with him.
I hear he's so involved with all his music. Like, he actually talks to the producer, spends time. Like, you would think a guy like that wouldn't even. This guy doesn't answer the phone. Like, you know, I would think that's my image of like all these guys that are at that level is like they're too busy to pick up the phone. But the fact that he spends that much time being involved in the song, it's crazy to hear.
It basically says everything about him.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why he's there is because he actually picks up the phone and makes those phone calls. It wasn't even like 2 months ago. For all of us, bro. For all of us, it's actually true. His work rate is insane, man. He's just not interested in anything apart from working on music. Man. A few months ago, he rang me himself to do that song with Gurdaswan, the Challa cover.
Did you make that?
No. I was supposed to make it, but basically we couldn't really make it happen for the time scale was a bit all over the place.
Who made that, right?
I think Icky eventually ended up making it. But like the fact that he rang me, and when I was telling people he rang me, they were like, Diljit rang you to like
they called your phone,
like,
not his assistant, not his manager.
Trust me, that doesn't happen.
That's
so
nuts.
That says a lot about him. So I got a lot of love for him, bro. Like
I wouldn't believe it if his name came up on my phone. Like, no, come on, man.
He changes his number like every 3 months. It's not even his name. You get a phone call, you don't answer it, then you get a text message saying Diljit here. Then you're like, oh shit, let me call this guy back quick time, innit?
That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
And then obviously we got to hear about the main man in the room, Tegi. We got it right now. It's not Teji for all you people. It's Tegi Panu. How did you introduce yourself to him, or how did he introduce himself to you, and where did that story begin from?
Yeah, so you know what, he says this himself, and it's actually true. Like with a lot of the singers that we found today, we've always found them, but with Tegi, he found us, because Tegi grew up with Navan, like the Amritsar like boys and stuff. Like like they're in the same circle basically. So there's a guy that we know called Sobi, who is like a mutual friend of Navan and Tegi. It was after Majel, me and Jazz are kind of like just looking for something to work on, looking for some type of artist, whether they're in the UK, Canada. That's where our eyes really were, the UK or Canada or India. Sobi rings me one day and was like, yeah, one of my boys, Tegi, he's from Australia. It's pretty good. I think you can do something with him. And I'm thinking, Australia, like, there's not really anyone from Australia apart from Pav, maybe. Like what really is there going to be in Australia for us to do something with? He sent over some dummies, and me and Jazz were like, yo, this guy's actually pretty decent, man. Like he's got something about him. He's got like a look. He can make songs. He can write songs. He can compose songs. Like that's automatically that ticks every box, right?
100%. Yeah.
Like, once you got someone that can do that, then it's like, all right, what can we do with him? So we got him to send us a bunch of songs. And I guess me and Jazz just went undercover for like 6 months. We didn't release nothing. Worked on like 3-4 Thiggy songs, and it was all before they came out. It was Into You, Fully Loaded, Shine In. I think it was maybe those 3 songs.
Unforgettable.
Unscheduled, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we made those 4 songs.
Classic.
Yeah. So those 4 songs were
Instant
made.
classic schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like those 3 tracks, sorry to interrupt you, but Dorni Kolni, Friday, and Schedule are like our story
Your
as
session.
every Indian guy.
Yeah.
You start, whoever's bugging you, your girl, whoever, mera schedule na puchi, and then Friday comes, I did Friday, then you end up nobody's opening the door for you. That's just the way it goes in our life,
That was the bigger picture of everything. That's what I was trying to do. That's my philosophy. Yeah, man. Like it wasn't thought of. It wasn't no like strategic plan to try and do anything with Iggy. It was more like, all right, he sounds good. Like, let's just see what we can make. Let's put our heads down for a good 5 months and just try and make some music. And every song we were making, like every beat, I was so used to sending beats and like just getting something that I wasn't 100% satisfied with back.
Yeah.
But every time we would send him a beat, he was making something that like just sounded good and different and catchy. So me and Jazz at that point thought, let's just basically just put everything on this guy. Like, let's just give him our 100% focus. At the time, he had like 3,000 followers on Instagram or something. He was completely unknown. He had dropped some songs before, but I guess nothing that kind of like took him to like blew him up differently. Even though the music he made was good, he just hadn't had the opportunity to like be known as an artist. And that's it, man. We just worked with him, put our head downs. First song we made was Into You. Dropped that. It got like a bit of a buzz. After that was Schedule came out, and then that's it, man.
It was game over from there.
That one
man.
like this.
Yeah.
Literally.
It literally was
it's a
like
staple song. Like even dance floor wise out here,
Yeah.
every wedding that has to get played. It's a guaranteed play.
And it was literally the most like, I know for a fine fact, from a music perspective, I didn't really like go crazy on it. The way I go crazy on some songs, try and like add a lot of stuff to it. I didn't really do much. Thiggy just dubbed the vocal on another beat. It was like an R&B guitar beat, bit slow. He sang Schedule on there. I just took that vocal, completely switched it, put it out there. The video was made in lockdown. Pretty sure it was illegal. Like they weren't allowed to shoot, and they just ended up shooting.
We heard that story on the break,
Yeah.
and we got to get Thiggy on for to tell his side of the story another day for sure. We didn't even know he was coming in. I was so mad. I froze when I seen him. I'm like, hold on, bro, that's the guy right there, right? But no, we definitely got to get him on and hear from his side as well next time he's in town.
But then it was really just that, man. We just made music with him, and then we started noticing like, yo, this guy's actually starting to make a bit of noise. And then like everyone knows that when you get to that level of like working with an artist, there's almost just like things that come out of every corner that interferes with everything, us and him. But I don't know, man, to this date, like I'm not even saying like we're boys, we're this and that, like, because I don't want to jinx anything, but like so far, like we've been working together, we're happy working together, and that's it, man.
The album you guys dropped was Disturbing the Peace, right? That was the first one.
Yeah.
And that was where you guys in the UK working on that, or were remotely sending stuff back and forth?
Pretty much remotely, I would say. There was definitely a few times where we linked up and recorded together, but I would say that Thiggy's like he's in his best zone when he's alone, and I'm in my best zone when I'm alone. Like, I just need vocals.
Love that.
Just give me the vocals and just like let me just be in a room alone.
Yeah.
Give me like 2 days. I'm gonna spend the night working on stuff. Thiggy's the type, let him just go in his own little zone, beat in his headphones. He's gonna write something, and he'll just send us a bunch of stuff. And he could send me like 6 verses. I'll choose 2 verses out of it. I'll be like, Thiggy, this is the structure of the song. This is what we're gonna do, and then we combine. Then it's better for us to link up afterwards. But the pre-production stage is better if he's alone and I'm alone, and we just come up with something together.
Love it.
Yeah.
Even with Switching Lanes, that EP that you guys dropped, that just, it was dark hip hop, like just banger off banger. Like, was that just tracks that you guys had, or did you actually come with the idea, let's drop something new?
No, so that whole project was made very like, it wasn't like a strategic thing. We just made that because we were all linked up in Canada. So we linked up with Sukha and GK. Me, Jazz came through. Thiggy had just finished his India tour. He linked up. Thiggy wasn't even supposed to come. Thiggy was just saying like, yo, like I've got time free. Like, shall I come through? We were like, yeah, come through. We actually went to work on one song with Sukha.
Uh-huh.
And
That was here in Toronto.
That was here in Toronto. Yeah. But when Thiggy came through, I just had a bunch of beats. I had this whole beat pack that I was going to send out to the whole industry. I had everyone's like Instagram ready to send. But before I did that, I came here and every single decent beat ends up getting used in this project.
That's crazy.
So, and it was so natural, bro. Like we would be in the studio chilling. I'll play a beat. Thiggy would start freestyling. So I would come with a composition, and the whole thing, like, bro, like no bullshitting. The structure of the album, every song was recorded in 5 days. 100%. We went back to it and recorded additional verses and stuff, and mixing and mastering and structuring the song. And that came later. Yeah. Which was even like.
But the ideas, that's the hardest part, man.
Exactly. The ideas, the structure, the base, 60% of every song was made in that 5 days.
That is crazy, man. I got to ask you quickly, because now we transition over to Toronto and Canada. You were right in the middle of that transition from UK being the spot for Punjabi music, Bhangra music, and then you saw it convert over to North America or Canada specifically.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that process? How do you feel about Canadian artists, Canadian music? I know we got a lot of love for you. How do you feel about us?
Bro, I mean, I'm out here like 3-4 times a year now, so I have to love you guys, man. No, but it's not even that. Like, it's like I've always actually felt like music is now a universal thing. Like, we definitely had our eras, maybe even back in the day when like Sanjay were doing it here, and then RDB were doing it in the UK, and you had people all over the place. But now, bro, the internet has just connected us all. Like, it doesn't really have to be like that. For sure, Canada is killing it, and I rate everything that Canada is doing, because you guys have kept it moving for us for a while now. Let's be honest. You guys just have sick Punjabi out here, bro. It really is. It's just as basic like that, because we've been trying to find someone from the UK that we can work with, but that it just hasn't happened. Hopefully Rishi Sunak opens up the borders. We get some students coming through.
I was gonna say, man, it's everybody hates our prime minister, but because of him is why we had the Sidhu Moosewala's, the APs, everybody, all these guys have been able to come here for education and then found their way through the music industry.
There's like a massive, like I feel like there's like a whole new, I wouldn't say generation, but like there's like a new age of kids out there who do speak Punjabi properly. They're not the older guys that know nothing. They speak Punjabi properly. They're from first gen families. Like, I'm seeing them come up, and I'm like, yeah, Punjabi, like England's got something that's going to slowly start brewing.
Sukha born and raised here? I never met him. He is born and raised here. His
Punjabi's fire, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
We
thought
How did you meet him? Because I personally had not heard of him until that EP came out.
Yeah, so it was Jazz. He found Sukha from.
Jazz has got that eye,
trust me.
bro.
He's on it.
It's 86, bro. Come on.
He found Sukha from a song he did with GK called Sifta, banger. And Jazz was like, yeah, this kid, like, this was when I had the beat pack. So we were figuring out who can we send this beat pack to. We had a list of all the top people and a list of all the newcomers, like not even newcomers, people that weren't even known at that point. So we sent him a bunch of beats, and he was coming through on the beats as well. So we were like, all right, well, if we go out to Canada, we should link up with this kid. We linked up with him, and at that point he approached us to do the what was the song called? Same thing. That song done well as well. The duet song with Sukha and Harleen and GK. So we dropped that on collab, and it just kind of blew up. It blew up on TikTok, and we were like, yo, this kid is actually, he's making some noise, man, and he's from Toronto. Like, we can actually do something with this kid. That's where we came up with the idea to come out here with initially just us, but then Thiggy came through, then the whole project just got made.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
It was big. It wasn't thought of, bro. It wasn't like, no.
I can see it with you guys, like the way that you guys roll deep. Like, we were expecting Manny to come through, and like, so we try to kind of organize quickly, and you guys came through with the crew. Everybody seems like it's family oriented. You guys, it's all natural. It's not like, a celebrity type feel where, you feel uncomfortable being around somebody. It just feels like if you didn't do music, we would still all be hanging out kind of deal, like it's a good vibe that you guys bring into the room.
If there could be a camera on me, Jazz, and Thiggy, like behind the scenes, bro, we've gone through every emotion together at this point, bro. Like, it's actually quite crazy to a point where we've been through everything to like know, like, all right, this is what our goal is. This is what we want to do in the industry. He knows it. If we're working for him and he's working for us just as hard, equally, then we know like we don't really need to like mess with.
That's
no one
crazy,
else, innit?
man. No, cheers.
But
to that.
I also say that, and it could also go pear shaped any day. So that is the music industry, bro.
Yeah,
Like, the
absolutely.
music industry, we've seen people that we would think would never break up that end up breaking up.
Absolutely.
So it just shit happens, innit? What can you do?
What can we expect from Manni Sandhu coming in the next couple months, the next year? What's the long? I know Jazz has probably got it already in his head
I'll probably
of
do it
what's
myself,
happening,
bro.
but
Yeah, I'm sure he knows.
what do you guys think? What can we expect as fans?
That's it, man. Just carry on doing what we're doing, looking for new people. So whoever's a new singer out there that wants to work, just hit us up. Hit me up, hit Jazz up, anyone, collaborations. We're still working with Diggy, still working with Sokar, just anyone, bro. Anyone.
Navon still dropping music.
Navon's, I haven't worked with Navon in a minute, but I linked up with him about 2 weeks ago. A Navon collaboration could happen anytime.
Yeah,
We literally just got to be in the same spot together.
that's crazy.
Yeah, an Akil collaboration could happen at any time. I could collab with anyone at any point, bro. I'm that kind of person.
The name says it all. Collaborations.
Yeah, exactly.
To get, right?
100%.
That's dope, man.
I got a song coming out in like a month or something. I think I recorded it back in 2013, and I just happened to make a good beat to it, and I'm just like, just drop it.
Sick.
So yeah,
Man, that's dope.
I'm just down to make good music, bro. That's
That's
it.
it,
That's-
man.
Like
that's-
we
that's
said,
what I
man,
care about.
Canada loves you, North America loves you, the Punjabi industry loves you. We're happy that you're able to come out, share your story with us, share your music continuously, bring new artists into the industry, and give us that vibe that we're looking for, because the DJs appreciate it, the fans appreciate it, man. Thank you for that.
Thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. I
We're
appreciate
not done yet. The tequila bottle still got a little bit in it,
Oh, we gotta do
so
that
we're gonna get
challenge
to
as well,
the
bro.
Yeah, I don't
fun
even
part
think
of
doesn't
the
even make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to do it.
Punjabi Shazam.
Yeah,
We can't do it.
can't do it without that, man.
Oh, is Arsh gone?
No. Without Manni,
Oh, without
you need
Manni.
Manni. First off, you're not gonna know shit.
I know it's gonna be what, you versus him. And
Yeah, that's
we
it.
could-
That's
we could
gonna be
put-
one-on-one.
We can put Jazz into it if Jazz wants to play Punjabi Shazam. You
Yeah,
played the
I'm-
game before? We can't have no Punjabi Shazam.
He'll probably be better than me. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's do it, man. We'll mix it with some hip hop.
Sure.
We'll do a quick one.
All right.
Yeah, if we don't love it, we'll cut
Let's
it
do
out.
it. Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right, cool. We'll
All
take a
right.
quick break and
2-minute
let's get
break.
to it.